Wow, this episode went in a way that I did not think it would go. The palace is in danger. Let's just say that. So, let's get into it. The title of this episode, which I think plays a really big role in the episode, is Pregnancy is Beautiful. And we thought when we first heard it, it was a take on Life is Beautiful, which after you watch the end of the episode, you'll kind of figure out, oh yeah, it kind of is with how the episode ends. In this episode, we start with the queen finding out that she's pregnant. She is just like, what? But everyone else is just, super happy and basically throwing a party in the room. The queen shoves the king and everyone out and basically flips out on her bed. The king does not understand why she isn't happy to be pregnant. Usually women are super duper happy to be pregnant inside the palace. He goes to Hong to find out what the problem is. Hong brings in Huan. Huan gives really bad advice, like trying to make the queen laugh. The king's already done all this, and now he realizes how ridiculous he was. But the king thinks, okay, I'm gonna try to make the queen happy on my own since I know her the best. Meanwhile, the queen is just, I hate this, I hate everything about it. She also hates that she has to change everything about the way she functions during the daytime. Choi and Hong Yan bring in the pregnancy book, and they explain all the things she has to do when she's pregnant, like lay down a certain way, get her foot massaged, all sorts of things, like not eat what she wants to eat. The queen wants to eat whatever she wants to eat. She tries to sneak into the kitchen to get the wine that they made or the alcohol that they made, but the chef says it's no longer here, and we cut and see that Choi ate all of it. It looks like she ate it with the chef and they just had a fun time, but it also looks like she probably did it for the queen's own good because she knows the queen and knew the queen was about to sneak in and try to get this alcohol. So the queen's just frustrated. In order to make the queen happy, the king decides to take the queen to their vacation home. And in a moment that made Choi almost pass out, he rides up on a horse, gets the queen to hop on the horse, and gallops away. And I guess the queen isn't supposed to be doing this while pregnant. So Choi's just like, oh my God, passes out practically. They go to this vacation home. It's gorgeous. The queen really loves it. So she's like, okay, yeah, this place is kind of nice. While she's at the vacation home, she realizes, oh, actually, if I have the king, that truly makes me the most powerful person in the palace. Basically, she can run politics now because she can run it in favor of the of the new king. She is more powerful than the grandmother queen now, if this baby is born and lives, So all of a sudden in the sky, you see the queen grandmother's name, So Young's name, punches it out of the way, and now it's just So Young's empire. She's super on board now with this pregnancy. She goes home, does everything she needs to do in order to have a healthy baby and in order to prepare her son, they always call it the son, for the palace. She starts writing all these things the son needs to know in order to be in the palace. While she's writing these things, we see the king actually enacting it all. So for instance, she says, you need to have your own purse, basically, if you're king. And it shows the king showing her a whole bunch of money. So it's really cute the way they did all that together. But no one else likes that this king is here. So Debbie, however, doesn't like it. Debbie spreads a rumor using the maid that the king and queen don't really sleep together at all. They like fake sleep together. That spreads around the palace. So that's why the king and queen have to do this tango move and pretend like they're super duper in love with each other, even though they are, we know they are. And that escalates to where they're basically laying on the pavilion, almost necking, basically. And all the maids and everybody are like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now. It's a really cute scene. But this escalates even further because a new rumor is spread that the baby does not belong to the king. And that is an even more powerful rumor that can destroy the queen. I'll get into that a little more later. When the baby is announced over the palace, it's announced by a drum, and everybody hears this drum. Everyone knows exactly what this drum means. It's like something really big and wonderful has happened. So they all get news of the pregnancy. And that's when the rumor spread and all the machinations start. Byung-in also hears this rumor. He hates it from the bottom of his soul, and he basically gets to work on this. But he's steaming. Dwa-gun knows what's going on, so he kind of meets with Byung-in. It's like, okay, we need to bring you back into the family. Come back to our house. Byung-in's still upset. All while the baby news spreads all over the palace, Hua Jin also hears the news. She's kind of not happy about it, but she's trying to be a good person now. She wants to be the good person she used to be. So she does not get involved in this at all. In fact, when Debbie tries to pull her into it, Hua Jin goes and tells Debbie, why did you spread this rumor? Because she knows Debbie did it. Debbie's basically like, you helped me spread it. You're the one that told me they don't really sleep together. So Hua Jin looks like she feels bad at that moment, but she's a fighting back Hua Jin now. She tells Debbie, you're going to stop doing what you're doing in the palace. Otherwise, I'm going to tell all the family members that you believe in all this hocus pocus stuff. And we all know how severe rumors can be. So Hua Jin's really just like fighting back using the method she can. She also decides she's going to leave the palace because she feels like she's turning into this horrible, horrible person inside the palace. She tells Youngyong that she's leaving, gives her her bow and arrow set that she polished up really nicely for Youngyong. She also tells the king she wants to be fired as concubine. The king doesn't want to fire her, but he does. And she leaves. Yang Pyong hears about Hua Jin leaving. Yang Pyong goes to the king to confront him about it. The king's like, look, I didn't want her to leave. They get into a fight, a literal fight about it, and Byung-in storms off. The king's like really sad. The queen knows that the king is probably sad when she hears that Hua Jin left, and the queen actually gives Hua Jin some props about it. She's like, all right, Hua Jin's, a cool person after all. But what the queen doesn't know is all this other stuff is spreading that's really bad. And the bad rumor is that her baby is not Chol-jung's. The new rumor is that the baby is Byung-in's baby. The grandmother queen hears this rumor from Debbie. Debbie's the one that spread the rumor, but she's telling the grandmother queen this so that the grandmother queen does not suspect her. The grandmother queen calls Byung-in in to talk about it and tells him, the queen's about to die with this rumor. You're going to be the one that needs to do it in order to save our family name. Byung-in asks her, what can I do for this not to happen? And the grandmother queen tells him, basically tells him nothing. The queen needs to die. Byung-in says he will get her back in the palace, back in politics. So she's like, all right, I actually like that. Byung-in tells Chol-jung, the king, everything that's going on and how the queen is going to basically suffer from this severely. She's going to be executed, and her son, of course, is going to die. So the king is like pushed against a wall with this. He asks what he can do. Byung-in tells him, you need to go off to war to suppress this rebellion that's happening. Because all this while, the king's most trusted guards that had to leave the palace have been spreading the seeds of rebellion all around the kingdom in the name of the king. Of course, they're doing it secretly, but they're doing what the king wants in order to get rid of all the people who are corrupt. Byung-in tells the king he has to stop this. He has to go to war and stop them. If he's at war to stop them, all the rumors will stop in the palace because it's rude to talk about a man who's fighting for his country when he's not here. So he knows that the queen will be taken care of if he leaves the palace to fight. But the king also knows this is going to get me killed. So he decides to sacrifice himself for his wife, for his family. That's why it reminds me of the beautiful Life is Beautiful in a little bit, without going too spoilery about that movie. So Yangpyeong and Hong do not want him to do this, but the king says he has to do it. Otherwise everyone else will die that he loves. He spends one last night with the queen. He tucks her in lovingly. She doesn't know he's there really. She kind of has a dream that thinks it's a dream that he's there, and he leaves the next day. So Young wakes up, tries to run after and catch him, but he sends his horse off even faster to not be caught by her. And the worst part is the red guards are the ones that are taking him out. And of course, the red guards are Byung-in's people. They get to some remote, distant part of some mountain where no one travels. The king's like, hey, it doesn't seem like people walk up here. The guards give a signal. They all pull their swords on the king. Then Byung-in comes up on his horse, and him and Byung-in sword fight together. They end with both of them chopping their sword into a part of each other, and it fades out there. But I mean, wow, I did not think the king was going to be injured at all. I thought it was going to be like politics stuff he was fighting for, but he was in his military gear, so he was off to literally die for his queen. I hope they have something planned in this. I feel like they do, and we'll have to wait till tomorrow to find it out. All right, so we're going to start working on the preview breakdown right now because I really want to see if we can catch anything, and I'll see you on the next episode.